So some people may say that the worst fate for a comedian, other than being accused of sexual assault, which seems to be pretty commonplace in the modern comedy scene, or even worse, being cancelled for a joke, which is something that they're always crying about even though it rarely ever happens, is becoming out of touch. Though this seems to be the fate of most comedians these days, some even start out that way. Well, this seems to be the fate of comedian Tom Segura, who seems to be going that way all this year, with the same kinds of comments about poor people, and you could have said the first time that it was a joke, maybe even the second time, but when he's flipping out on Twitter to a company of an airline because a worker held him up doing their job, and he's been through this before on a pretty frequent basis since he's a comedian. There aren't many jobs where you fly around as often as comedians do, so I don't know what the problem is, but then he goes off at poor people, saying that their time is meaningless. If you're still thinking that this is a joke, then you've lost touch with reality more than he has. And this is not some bit that we all just don't get. When you're publicly attacking people, then get called out and doubled down by calling everyone poor and acting like everyone that doesn't agree with your position is just some piece of shit, then you're not joking. Just because he's a comedian does not mean that everything he says is a fucking joke. Maybe it was ironic originally, but no, not now. He is that guy that he was making fun of. He's entitled as any Californian teenage girl. Oh, and your time isn't any more meaningful than anyone else's, you fat fucking retard. This dude used to go on about how poor he was, and now he's shitting on people in that same position that he was supposedly in, and says that poor people allow themselves to be inconvenienced. But no, regular people have actual problems that they deal with on a regular basis, not Hollywood inconveniences where you get held up and can't get on stage to tell your fucking fart jokes. And it's so ridiculous, and he is a comedian, so you think that this is just some big joke, but no, he is 100% serious. It's a real good look calling workers cunts on Twitter, wasting your valuable time. Clearly you don't make a fuss when you were there. You didn't act like this big tough guy then. But now that you have your audience to back you up, except I think people are starting to see through this a little bit. And you should, because this is how he sees you and everyone that comes to his shows. He doesn't respect you, even though he wouldn't be shit without you. And if he thinks regular people don't care about their time being wasted, then it shows that he probably doesn't care about putting any effort into making his poor audience laugh. They don't care about their time being wasted, so why should I waste my time with them? This is the mindset that I picture him having. And this guy's been on the rise for a while, but with an attitude like this, I don't know how much longer he has as a top comedian. I think it could all be downhill from here. When you lose touch with reality like this and become so unrelatable, your material usually suffers. And lots of people have already said that Tom Segura hasn't been funny for years, or even more recently, so I don't know, this could be it. Even Bert, his best friend, thought that he was going too far, back when this first became apparent to people.
Oh, can I just say this real quick?
Yeah.
Every time we talk about like a watch or a car, I'll get a bunch of messages from losers that try to tell me that I'm making them feel bad about their situation. You're in control of your own situation and your own feelings. So don't put it on me that you feel bad, that I have something that, but I'm struggling with rent this month. Figure it the fuck out, okay? Like, don't make my life be a problem for your life.
Imagine being more out of touch with reality than an alcoholic 40-something-year-old that pretends to be a college kid still. With this level of self-awareness, he's going to start ripping on fat people for being pieces of shit too. Oh wait, he's already done that as well.
I hate fat models.
I hate them.
I want to see dudes that are yoked and ripped with six packs, and I want to see chicks that have perfect bodies.
Sames.
the fucking little waist, hips,
Perfect.
and an ass. And like, yeah,
Perky titties.
just be fucking, that's the gig.
I know.
That's what you get. You get what you get in this world.
I know.
And the perfect bodies are models, and fucking fatties are not. You fat fuck.
So then he actually responded to all of the hate that he was getting. And okay, this part is sarcasm, obviously, but I need people to know that because this is the closest that this became to being a bit. So we know when he's not being serious, and if this was a bit, he wouldn't be using this snarky, smart-ass defense. He then calls the gate agent a child, when he is the one whining on Twitter, which is never going to be the same as physically being in public, but that is the way that it's being treated by society and how the laws around social media are being treated. It's like the public square. So really, what he's doing is having a public meltdown. So there's not much of a difference between a top comedian and a Karen. He's writing to the company and complaining about a specific worker. How is this any different to a Karen asking to speak to the manager about an employee? It has exactly the same fucking energy. So there you go, Tom Segura is a Karen. We should have all seen it coming. I want to see the response he does back to all of this on either of his shows. He's either going to whine more, or he's going to act like this was just some bit. Tom Segura doesn't exactly have a good reputation for admitting when he's wrong, or when he completely fucks up. If you've ever seen the way that he argues on those shows, or if you've ever seen the way that he acted when they fucked up the trailer for his Netflix special, and then refused to admit that there was a problem with the makeup, then you know exactly what it is that I'm talking about. So there you go. You can all piss off now.
You fat fuck.